item 7.2, consideration of changing the committee assignments. And so I brought this forward as an agenda item. There was a request that I received via email, a personal request, to see if it was possible to rearrange our Ag Advisory Board or Ag Advisory Council. And one of the requests was for, and as stated in the memo, but I'll repeat it, for purposes of continuity, for purposes of expanding the scope of jurisdiction and coverage of more ag properties and land, and also in light of conversations like what we just had earlier today, and ensuring that we are continuously moving forward and striving for better relationships between groups within our county. The request was to ask if Vice Chair Crandall was interested in joining the Ag Advisory. The only person that I have spoken with was Vice Chair Crandall, because there was no purpose in bringing this if he was not interested in joining the committee. And so obviously I want to open it up for discussion and hear others' comments and seek a response to the request that I had received, and see if that is something that the board is interested in making change on. And I don't know if those that are on the Ag Advisory want to start with their comments, or if Vice Chair Crandall, if you wish to make a comment.
When I seen this and we discussed it, I thought, yeah, if it's something that's possible, I wouldn't mind doing it. I'm already doing some things with the Farm, Ranch, and Rural Communities Advisory Committee, and I have no problem doing so, but of course, it's the will of the board, and I understand the continuity situation as well. So,
and thank you for adding that. That is an extra committee that you are on through the
RCRC
and the EPA.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Any other comments or questions, Supervisor Green?
Yeah, thank you. I did find this item curious for process questions. Number one, never mind the merits of or the qualifications of Supervisor Crandall versus myself. But on the process, I'm aware that this request came down from a member of the Ag Advisory Committee. I did want to review briefly the bylaws. I printed out copies for those interested, and I'm not aware, given the limited scope of those bylaws, that the chair or any individual member of the advisory committee, they can make a request. I guess there's no law against it, but I also don't see anything within the bylaws that would authorize the committee as a whole to bring such a request. It's kind of unusual, much less a single individual on the committee. And for every point that was raised, yeah, it could enhance continuity. It also could disrupt the continuity that the sitting supervisors already assigned to that committee have brought. I've been on this committee for a year, and I don't know if it's been all wine and roses, but I don't think it's been a horrible journey for me, at least. And I'll leave it to the members of the committee to chime in if they wish on that. Importantly also, is, as it was explained to me the first time I was appointed, traditionally, and again, it's not set in stone in the bylaws, traditionally the two largest ag districts, 5 and 4, have had those appointments. So it's no disrespect that all of our districts, with maybe the exception of yours, would have a fair amount of agriculture present within it. But past practice has been to kind of rely on District 4 and District 5 to do the heavy lifting on that. And then, so no real objection to Supervisor Crandall's CV, but it kind of conversely kind of seems like a commentary on my qualifications or lack thereof. So I'm going to leave it at that right now. I would like to stay on there. And again, on the continuity question, not just me, we're having election day to hopefully narrow down the field of candidates who hope to succeed me on the board next year. And going back again to the traditional allocation of seats, I want to make sure that the incoming supervisor is not kind of frozen out of this over some quest to provide continuity. So leave it at that.
And I appreciate the comments, and there is one thing that I forgot to mention. I know it was a discussion with Vice Chair Crandall about the idea of an exchange and not just a change of one committee assignment. That way, it would be still fair to provide same amount of committee assignments. And Supervisor Pyska.
Well, it's a relatively new committee. It's only a few years old. And so, and also the supervisors sit in non-voting seats. And, if it's a request coming from the committee, I'm okay with honoring it. And then as far as going forward, that would be the board in January to make the decisions on what next year's committee assignments look like.
And I will clarify that the request did not come from the committee, it just came from an individual.
An individual on the committee.
They
right.
did not signify their position within the committee, and just want to make sure and clarify that. Any further comments or conversation? I'm going to open it up for public comment.
Just in the interest of transparency, if you would identify the individual.
Yes, Sharon Zoller. Okay, let's open it up for public comment. Anyone have any comment for this item? Please come on up.
Hi, guys. Rebecca Harper, Lake County Farm Bureau. I just, first of all, wanted to say, regardless of what the decision to assign or unassign ends up being, Michael, I think you've done a great job, and I don't think that any request on behalf of an individual from the committee has anything to do with your qualifications or the perception of your service while spending your time on the committee. So I first, regardless of what happens, would like to say thank you for your service in the past, and whether that stays the same moving forward, I think you've done a great job. From my perspective, I think that there are a lot of ways in which, especially recently, tribal communities and traditional agricultural communities have been interacting. So from that perspective, I think that it may be beneficial to have to have EJ as a tribal member on the committee and to be getting that perspective before issues come to a full board level. And so maybe there's potential for more interaction between those communities at a lower level before things elevate. That would be one potential benefit that I would see. Otherwise, I think that it's the will of the board, and I enjoy attending ag advisory committees and will enjoy working with whoever the appointed supervisor is. So thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Sharon Zoller. So thank you for bringing this forward, and you stated the thoughts behind it. I appreciate Rebecca's addition. It's very salient to our working together, particularly with all the various issues that have come forward in the last year and a half that have, I don't want to say bubbled up because we've just been talking about water, but absolutely appreciate being able to build a better communication with the tribes and the Native Americans in our county, who are the first stewards of our land. So, and again, this is a personnel matter, not a personal matter. So, I brought it forward. I had a question posed to me. Why wasn't it brought forward earlier? The reappointments of the committees was not done until February. So the assignments had already been made. And so I wouldn't be so presumptuous as to assume that I would be reappointed until I got the letter. So I appreciate your consideration, and will certainly abide by whatever your decision is. Thank you.
Any other public comment? I see none in the chamber and none on Zoom, and so bringing it back to the board. Supervisor Pyska?
Was there a discussion on a trade?
Couldn't have a discussion. I know that there was with Vice Chair Crandall.
Are there options for a trade?
I'm open to, if this moves forward, I'm open to the pick of the litter. If there's something that Supervisor Green sees that he would like to be on, or, maybe that would like to switch with, or if he wants to stay on and we just go that route. I mean, of course, it's up to the board. But I have, I was thinking area agency on aging, but I didn't know if that would be ideal for that. I know that right now let's see, I got the.
You're the chair of AAA, though.
Right.
That might be difficult.
There's the Blue Ribbon Committee. Well, I mean, Michael's on that with me as well.
And we can do possibly in the clean water. I know that you went and became the alternate.
Oh, that's
We
right.
can switch that, and I can be the alternate.
Office Space. Solid Waste Task Force.
Any other?
I'm open to those.
I'm going to make a guess that you're not interested in the change, therefore not interested in the offer of any other position.
Yeah, I'll let you guys engineer this, for sure.
Well, I want to make a motion, but I guess we'll have to do it in separate motions then. Well, I move that we make a change to the Agricultural Advisory Committee and exchange Supervisor Green for Vice Chair Crandall.
Okay, there's a motion,
I'll second it.
and there's a second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Okay, and I think that the secondary part to what Supervisor Pyska was mentioning is, now that that specific motion has been made and approved, is there a committee seat that would interest you, Supervisor Green, to take on, that Vice Chair Crandall is a part of?
No.
And that's something that at a later time we can bring back if that changes? Okay. And so motion carries, and that closes, oh, I guess I should have opened it up for, I did.
You did.
Okay, good. And so that closes that item.